Great. Welcome all to this session on Agentic AI Masterclass, where we will be building smarter autonomous AI systems. So the agenda for the day is to understand what are AI agents, what all they can do, what are the building blocks of AI agents, what is OpenAI, what is the role of OpenAI, and what benefits it gives us. And we will talk about real world applications which makes use of agentic AI. And finally, we will conclude with the future of open AI agents. So the first topic is introduction to AI agents. So first question is, what is agentic AI? So agentic AI is a type of artificial intelligence. We all know that artificial intelligence is one of the most talked about technology or feature in today's world. So agentic AI falls under artificial intelligence. So what it can do? It can automate tasks. It can adjust its behavior based upon the environment and take action without needing to give step-by-step instruction. Now, this is a very important point, the last point, taking action without the need to give step-by-step instruction. This is what makes agentic AI quite different from the primordial programming paradigm, correct? So the ability to take actions on fly. So what's an example of agentic AI? So in the world, agentic AI can do many things in various sectors, including educational sector, health sector, financial structure. All this can be easily automated with the help of agentic AI, various tasks and practices. Now, as an example, we can also make use of agentic AI to maintain inventory levels. So we can make a solution by using agentic AI, which will keep a note of prices of your products and that of competitors and adjust your price accordingly so that it appears more lucrative to the end audience. It can also vary prices based upon customer demand. So this is the feature which we highlighted in our earlier topic, saying that agentic AI can adjust based upon environment, correct? It can optimize itself. It can keep a note of what inventory we have, and based upon demand whether we should go and increase our inventory and no. So questions like this, instead of just answering, agentic AI can take a decision and move forward in this direction. So that's the biggest feature of agentic AI, which makes it one of the leaders in technology as of today. Now, while we talk about agentic AI, one question which might come in your mind is this been adopted? Will agentic AI have any future? So answer to that question is the future of agentic AI looks very good. And why? Because of following things which I have highlighted. You can see that agentic AI is expected to drive 3.5% of global GDP by 2030. And if you see the line before that, the global spending on AI will reach 632 billion by 2028. Okay. Many companies have already started using agentic AI. You will be able to see the work of agentic AI as soon as you call customer care. So when you call customer care, if your questions, if you ask questions to customer care, you can see it's an automated system which replies to your queries precisely in a manner which you will expect from a real human. Correct? So agentic AI is being used at many places, many organizations already, and many people are still focusing towards implementing many of the features by 2027. 33% of enterprise software applications will include agentic AI by 2028. Yes, and 1 billion AI agents are expected to be used by 2026. So you see, customer service I already talked about. Already a lot of customer services is automatically handled by AI agents, and by 2029, 80% of customer services is supposed to be handled automatically by AI agents. So the future of agentic AI looks very green, at least for coming 5 to 6 years. So what are the key features of agentic AI? So following are the highlighted features of agentic AI. So in agentic AI can have autonomy. So when I say autonomy, it can independently make decisions. Will the decisions be random? No. The decisions will be based upon the data. Which data? That depends upon you and your organization. You can ask agentic AI to take decisions based upon internet. You can ask agentic AI to take decisions based upon the data which you store in your CRM. You can ask agentic AI to take decisions based upon the data which you store in your database. It can also take decisions based upon the data which is exposed as an application programmable interface, API or REST service. So the decisions which AI agents take are basically independent, but the rationale behind taking decisions is always through data. One more interesting point which we attribute to agentic AI is its ability of learning and adaptability. So I gave an example in which your agentic AI can automatically adjust the price based upon your competitor's price. It can also adjust the price based upon demand. So all this it learns on the fly and adapts to bring the best experience. So learning and adaptability is one of the most talked about feature about agentic AI. Now, third very important point is they are goal oriented. So AI agents are basically created in such a way that they focus on particular task and they try to do that task with a very well efficient and optimized manner in a way that it will be able to achieve this with minimal human interaction or oversight. Correct? So it's goal oriented. So autonomy, ability to learn and adapt, and goal oriented. Along with that, the next cool feature is it can interact. It can interact with other systems. It can interact with users, customers. Correct? So it can interact with many people, and it can also perform autonomous communication. So once it takes a decision, it can communicate that decision in various formats. Like for example, it can call you and automatically inform you whether your loan has been passed or not. It can mail you. It can inform you via applications. So once a decision is made, the communication is also automated in the case of agentic AI. And that's one of the cool feature, because imagine you are be a very big MNC serving millions of users and you require 24/7 customer care support. And even though your organization follows many global models with many customer service individuals sitting in various countries in the world, but if you have agentic AI, it will be able to answer anyone as long as it's available. Correct? So the communication channel is very clear and it will be able to communicate by that means to the customers or end users. Correct? Now, one question which everyone has is, hey, there is a lot of talk about Gen AI. So what's the difference between Gen AI and Agentic AI? So the difference between Gen AI and Agentic AI is shown in this particular table, which marks their differences. The aim of generative AI is to generate content. What you are going to use the content for is none of generative AI business. It will just generate the content and give it to you. The content is based upon data. It doesn't make use of any external tools. It's output oriented. So if you ask generative AI to create a content or an essay or a story, it will generate that story and give it to you. It's not goal oriented. The aim of generative AI is not to increase your sales or to reduce the customer response time. So we don't have any goals there. The goal is actually content, whether it's image, whether it's video, whether it is plain essay, correct? While in the case of agentic AI, number one, it's goal oriented. There is always a goal to an agent. Number two, it can adapt itself based upon real environment. In generative AI, yes, you can adapt the content based upon various styles, but it cannot adapt itself to real world environment. Agentic AI can do that. Agentic AI can make use of tools and APIs. I already told you agentic AI can take data from anywhere. It can take data from your database, it can take data from your APIs, it can take data from internet. So it has ability to connect to any of these systems to take data, analyze that data and take a decision. Okay. And it continuously keeps on adapting itself. And one very important point to give the difference between agentic AI and generative AI is the decision making. In the case of agentic AI, it's very autonomous system. Yes, you can control how much autonomous you want, whether you want something rule based in which you give them less autonomy, or you can also make it a system which is completely autonomous. So the decision making capabilities you have in agentic AI with the ability to control how much autonomy or independence you want to give. So this is the major difference between generative AI and agentic AI. In very simple words, generative AI mainly focuses on the content, while agentic AI focuses on completing the task in an optimized and efficient way. Okay. Now comes the question, how many types of agents are there? Now, agents can be classified into multiple different ways. They can be classified based upon domains. They can be classified based upon the amount of autonomy we give. We can also classify agents based upon how much they learn from the interaction. So, based upon interaction, agents can be classified as reactive agents. The aim of reactive agents is to just respond to the immediate request. They don't learn anything from the interaction. Here, speed of response is the biggest criteria. Okay. And exactly opposite to reactive agents are learning agents. So learning agents learn from the data. They have the ability to improve over time. Okay. So each interaction is a knowledge base for learning agent on seeing how it's performing and how it can improve itself. Correct. In many cases, we also make use of hybrid agents. So the use of hybrid agents is a combination of both of them based upon situations. So just to give you an example of reactive agents will be something like a sensor which is checking whether your temperature is falling beyond certain range or whether your temperature is increasing beyond certain range. So when she sees this, it will immediately respond. It may not store this data for future use, but it may immediately respond. Like if the temperature is very high, it may open the showers or it may start the AC, correct? Air conditioner. So that's an example of reactive agents. Another example of reactive agents is devices which controls or which checks your health. So if sugar level falls below certain limit, then automatically inject sugar syrup. Something like that is an example of reactive agents. Here, aim is to respond immediately. That's of critical importance. Learning agents, on the other hand, even though learning agents also respond, but it has to store this information for future use, correct? An example of learning agent can be something like a movie app which checks what type of movie you like so that it can propose new movies as per your likings, correct? Now, certain times we have hybrid agents. Hybrid agents are agents which can do both. It can respond immediately for critical actions and at the same time store it for further reference, correct? For example, the first example which I gave, based upon temperature, your AC should start or your water should fall on the floor. So, if you want that, you can make use of hybrid agents which will of course do the corresponding action and at the same time also store this data and analyze whether the temperature is falling every day at the same time so that it can plan for future, correct? So this is an example of hybrid agents. So by nature of the type of response which agents can provide, we have following three types, correct? Now, as I told you, agents can be classified in many different ways. So if you see the types of agents which we have here, based upon how much independence it gets, then following is the classification, correct? So number one is rule based systems or agents. So these are systems in which we have predefined rules. Based upon the rules they will run. So naturally they are bound by the rules, so they cannot have a very great amount of independence, correct? So the system is based upon rules, it will follow the rules and execute. So this is the agents which is having a very low amount of autonomy or independence. Second are workflow agents. So workflow agents are agents which can pick data from anywhere. But what is the final output of the workflow or how the workflow should happen, that is again predefined, correct? So for example, if you want to say that a payment should be made from this account to that account today, so it's free to see whether the payment gateway is very busy or not. All that decisions it can take, but it cannot take decision that hey, this payment the payment to this particular customer I can delay by one more day. So that decision is not there in workflow, correct? So workflow is created by human beings. That workflow has to be othered. Okay. So we have high control here because the workflow has to be othered, but the way each step in the workflow has to be othered, that independence we give. Okay. Third type of agents are semi-autonomous agents. These are agents which can have a variety of autonomy. It can have from moderate to high. Now, how it is based upon moderate to high is based upon the nature of the application which we are making. For example, if we are making health related AI agents, then it can be from moderate. We cannot keep it very high autonomy because if it takes a wrong decision, it is going to impact the patient's health. So we can give it a moderate amount of autonomy, while if you have a system which you have to remind yourself about a particular task, that can be highly autonomous, correct? It can take decisions when to remind you. Finally, we have autonomous agents which are fully independent agents, which have high autonomy, which can pick the data from anywhere, and in which you require very low amount of control. So do organizations use all these variations? Yes, they use all these variations based upon the nature of your application, which we are going to see in the second slide. So if you see here, we are giving where each of the suggested agent types should be used. Okay. So rule-based engines can be used when you want to trigger a invoice processing based upon fixed thresholds, or when you want to automatically reimburse certain amount. There you can make use of rule-based engine. You can make use of workflow engine when you want to support tickets. Correct. So whenever you want to support tickets in whatever ticketing system you use. there you can make use of workflow agent, correct? Semi-autonomous agent you can use for fetching the data from CRM, drafting, sending out mail, and automatically doing the log interaction. And the last is autonomous agent. Autonomous agent can generate market reports or summarize how market performed today based upon various data which it can get from internet or APIs, correct? So see, each of the agents have specific functionality. What is listed here is just one of the functions which can be done, correct? It can offer a large variety of functions, as you know. So now, since we learned about the categories of agentic AI, now what we would like to know is how will agentic AI work? What is the working principle of agentic AI, correct? So the working principle of agentic AI is based upon perception. So perception is a stimuli which it can get from the environment. Now environment can be anything. For example, it can be sensors, it can be APIs, it can be database or user interactions, correct? So the perception it will collect from the data source. Now once it collects the perception, it will make use of reasoning. In the case of reasoning, it will make use of user queries or detect patterns based upon which it can take decisions, correct? So reasoning is the second step. Now, one of the common things which is used in reasoning is natural language processing, correct? An ability to understand language and take decision based upon the nature of semantics which we derive from that language, correct? Based upon emotional quotient of that particular conversation, we can take a reasoning. Okay. Next is goal setting. So generally for any AI agent, we set a predefined goal. As I told you, AI agents are completely, we can say, they are completely goal oriented, correct? That was the important difference between Gen AI and Agentic AI. So we set the goals. So it tries to improve on the goals of often by using optimization mechanisms, correct? So you see internally it makes use of machine learning algorithms like decision tree, reinforcement learning, and so on. And once it does all this, finally it will take a decision making, correct? Now again, decision making is based upon data, it's based upon probability, it makes use of probabilistic models, utility functions, and machine learning reasoning to determine the best course of action. Okay. Once it takes a decision, it will learn from that decision and adapt. It will also see whether the decision which it took was correct, with whether it achieved the required goal or whether there some corrections are required, correct? This is what we call as reinforcement. So by using reinforcement technique, it will try to improve upon the performance, correct? And finally, it will do orchestration. So orchestration is it will decide the workflow. So we remembered that certain AI agents have full autonomy. So they have the flexibility of creating their own workflow and track towards the progress, correct? So these are the steps which any agentic AI system will use, correct? Now, one more important point which I want to make here is just like we have DevOps in our organization, one new role which is coming up is agentic ops. So these are the people who will naturally develop and maintain agentic AI applications, and along with that, they will also be managing their life cycle. Now, whenever we make use of agentic AI, we always make use of some models, especially LLM models, correct? Language models. So which language model to use for which criteria and whether it is performing as per expectations is what we are going to do as a part of this agentic ops. So in near future, not years, in few months, you will start seeing openings for agentic ops. Correct? Many of which we will be covering in this course. Okay. So now question comes again, how agentic AI works. So this diagram typically shows you how a agentic AI works. So the agentic AI follows what we call as loop based approach. So what the loop based approach will do, so imagine a customer is asking a question. Now the customer can ask question from a voice text, or the corresponding person can ask the question based upon a chat application. So the nature of the application which you are using is naturally based upon the way the customer can communicate with you. Okay, so based upon that, the user asked a question. Sorry, the question will be understood by this LLM language models, correct? Now, based upon the language models interpretation of the question, it will make use of a parser, and the parser can connect to various tools. So here, if you see, there are various tools which are listed. It can be your database, it can be your APIs, it can be your store, it can be internet. Correct. So based upon the tools which are made available, it will do the processing, and based upon that, it will give a response. Correct. Now, while giving the response, it will also observe what response it's giving so that it can optimize and adapt it. Correct. So it will keep on doing this till it can come with the response, which it considers an appropriate response, which can be sent back to the customer. Correct. So once it decides the output, now see, if a customer is asking a question in phone, then naturally the output which we give should also be explained to the user in language itself. Correct. So finally, once the output is decided, that output will be shared back to the LLM, which will again convert it from text to voice and give that response back to the user. Correct. So we may use various technologies which can convert from text to voice or voice to text. Along with that, LLM will play an important role in summarizing or putting the contents in such a way that it will look very nice to the end customer. Okay, so this is what is the entire process of agentic AI. So what all tools we will use depends upon what are data is available to us and in which form it is available to us. Correct? Yes. So as you can see, the rise of AI assistance is continuously increasing because of its capabilities of taking decisions and automatically solving all the issues and ability to automate. The rise of AI assistance is keeping on increasing, and it will increase with time, as many functionalities which are currently manual will be tried to automate with the help of AI assistance. Okay. So in the world of AI assistance, one of the important programming language is Python. Now, first question which comes in everyone's mind is, can't I use any other programming language which I am learning? Of course, you can use. But as you know, each and every programming language is specialized in making certain types of applications, correct? So Python is one of the leading programming languages with respect to machine learning and AI. And in the world, we have something known as Open AI Agents SDK. So the advantage of using this Open AI Agent SDK is it provides much amount of functionalities which are required for AI agents, and only thing we have to define is the core business logic. Correct. So it abstracts the complexities included in agentic AI development, and it takes off many things like handoff, quadrils, and some of the functionalities which we expect any agent systems to provide. Correct. So what are these handoff, quadrils? We will see as we go further. Okay. So OpenAI agents, in a very simple word, it provides a Python library. It provides smart assistance. It supports collaboration between agents. Now this is uh, one of a very good functionality of agentic AI. So imagine you created within the same organization, you created a agentic AI for HR, a agentic AI for payroll, correct? So when a question related to some payment difference comes from your employee to the HR agent, the HR agent will be capable and determine that a better agent to answer this question is payroll agent, correct? So it can perform a handoff. Handoff means it will say, hey, instead of me answering this question, you better ask this particular agent who can answer this question. I can again give one more example to make it more meaningful. So imagine you are in a school, and we know in school we have multiple teachers who are specialized in particular subjects, correct? So we replace the teachers with AI agents. So imagine AI agent for history, AI agent for geography, AI agent for language and mathematics. So if a student can reach out to a common AI agent, which based upon the question can redirect the student to the particular expert AI agent which can answer their questions, correct? So this is known as multi-agent architecture, where we have more than one agents and each agents can have their collaboration, correct? So that's also possible. So the SDK supports developing sub agents and having interactions between them, correct? And this is very helpful if you want to do a complex task. Okay. So as a result of OpenAI's agent SDK, it's possible to simplify AI agent development. We can reach the market. Time to market is very small. We can reach the market very easily, and it provides robust frameworks. Okay. Now it can do automated task managers. It can streamline the process. As you know, agentic AI can define its own workflow, which is optimized. It will reduce errors because agentic AI keeps on understanding and improving itself, and it can result in cost savings. Correct? So understanding the key concepts. So agent, so actually agent is a AI entity. It's an artificial intelligence entity. It's powered by GPT. It's a generative pre-trained transformer designed to follow specific instructions. Correct? So, so what is the implication of this? The implication of this statement is agentic AI is a program. That program depends upon transformers or other models, and it can generate specific instructions. Correct? Now, any agent will have a particular responsibility. As I told you, each and every agent is goal oriented. So you will provide a particular responsibility, and based upon that, it can take actions, correct? So that's how it works. I already gave you an example of HR agent, payroll agent, how HR agent can automatically trigger a handoff to payroll agent based upon the nature of question, correct? Yes. So now next question comes, what all tools can be used for agentic AI? So as I told you, agentic AI can make use of various tools, including database, web engines, file readers, APIs. So you name any data source, that data source can be easily integrated with agentic AI. And it can be used to perform complex operations. For example, a math agent can very capably do a lot of web search related applications, correct? Complex mathematical equations it can solve. Okay. So it provides, so a tool is something which is an external resource uh, which can help agent in solving a particular issue, correct? And in multi agent architecture, each agent can collaborate with other agents. They can do a handoff based upon the need of the time, to an agent which can better handle that question, correct? So, as I told you, the history agent will be capable of answering historical questions. But if you want questions related to mathematics, it will be better that the history agent forwards you to mathematics based upon the nature of your question, correct? So that process is what we call as handoff. Okay. Now, one thing, as you know, the world of AI has both good and bad. One thing which any organization will expect is AI agent working in an ethical manner, correct? So AI agent should be capable of doing activities like it should be capable of blocking offensive language. It should print data leakage, accident data leakage. It should ensure compliance as per the standards established by both the organization as well as government. Correct. So all these checkpoints are required in agentic AI because accidentally, if someone leaks out certain information which are supposed to be private and sensitive, that can result in a greater harm. So how agentic AI achieves this? It achieves with the help of guardrail. So guardrail is a safety mechanism. You can imagine it as a gatekeeper or a filter which will check inputs and corresponding outputs to ensure that the interaction is not happening in a manner which it should not be. Okay. So this will ensure that your agentic AI performs as per ethical standards as well as standards established by your organization. Okay. Okay. So login and tracing we will do. So a soft guarding with guardrails I already told you. It can pre-process input, it can block inappropriate request, and it can maintain safety. Okay. So all these things it can do. Now, how OpenAI agents work? So they make use of tools. I told you, tools are something which it can interpret the data which is stored in various sources, and based upon that, by using a model, it will try to churn the data and drew a meaningful information on basis of which it can take decisions. Correct. So agent makes use of tools. Tools are data sources. Data sources can be API, it can be files, it can be database, it can come from internet predominantly, correct? So hands off we already had done. So OpenAI agents advantage is, as you know, we have predefined components. So we can plug and play and apply our business logic. So it becomes easy for development, and rather than easy for development, it brings the product faster to market. Correct. So that's the major requirement of any organization. A solution which reaches market on time is a solution which is very much successful, which has higher chances of becoming successful. Correct. So if you use OpenAI SDK, it allows you to develop solutions faster, and it can also support enhanced collaborations. Correct. So real world examples I already told you: task management, uh, information retrieval, productive enhancements, automated supports, personalized interactions, 24 by 7 availability, correct? So many applications are there: healthcare, stock price, automated trading that has become a trend today, correct? How to trade automatically. So all these things can be done by using agentic AI, correct? So the future of OpenAI agents, I already told you how agentic AI is going to be a hot topic for coming few years, correct? Many years, I should say, not few years, until something new is found. So the future of OpenAI agents SDK is very green because everyone will try to follow OpenAI because more or less OpenAI acts as a standard in which we can make use of any LLM providers, correct? So for example, if you are using LLM from Google, which is Gemini, we can make use of OpenAI to still interact with Gemini in a uniform way. So it becomes easy to switch tomorrow if you are switching from Gemini to anthropic systems or GORC systems. You can still make use of OpenAI, which minute picks. Correct. So the future of OpenAI Agent SDK is quite good. It fosters creativity, it solves complex problems, and builds a smarter world. Okay. So with this much information of what is agentic AI and what all it can do, we will start with a small example to understand how agentic AI works. Okay. So the first example which I am going to show you is how to connect to Gemini. We know Gemini is one of the AI providers which we have from Google. So as an example, we will be using an API call, and not by using normal API call. We will be making use of OpenAI to make a call to Gemini and correspondingly get a question answered. Okay. And we will build on this example. Now, always using external LLMs is very costly. So we will try to improve on that and see whether we can set up something in local and use models in local, correct? And post that, we will also try to create a simple chat-based application in which we can chat, and we will have an agentic AI developed which will understand your question, will search internet and get your question answered from internet, and present the solution in a way in which as if you will feel that some person is sitting there and answering your question, correct? So these are the applications which we are targeting for the day. And as you know, in each day we are going to make better applications, so that post this course, you know that you will be able to land up in any agentic AI work and start develop and deployment at the earliest. Okay. So let's start with this. So what we will do is, so this is my code. So this is the first example, correct? Please don't see my API key. I will hide it. So the first example which we are going to do is we're going to make use of OpenAI to question Google's Gemini API and get an answer from it. Okay. So the module which we have used is OpenAI. So OpenAI is a module which you will have to install. It's a third-party module which is available in Python. So to install that module, once you install Python, you can say pip install OpenAI. Now, some people might argue that you have to create a virtual environment and install OpenAI in virtual environment. I agree with you. The intention of this particular course is to show best practices with respect to agentic AI, while we believe that many people will already be following best practices. We'll also be showing best practices in our advanced example, but just to show how to install an OpenAI. So OpenAI is a third-party module, so you can install it by using pip install OpenAI. So once you put this command, so you know pip is a dependency uh, maintainer in Python, which can maintain dependencies, correct? So if you install this, it will download and have this module installed on your local. So by using OpenAI, you can create a client. Now client will of course require API key, and it will also require a base URL, correct? So base URL will change from provider to provider. So if you are using Anthropic or Grok, this base URL will change. So how to know which base URL to use? Naturally, when you are using a particular AI provider, you will surely go and check their document. Their documentation will clearly give you which base URL is the base URL to use. Okay, and naturally, we'll also have to generate an API key. As of today, not many AI providers are free. As you know, OpenAI itself has been made paid, while Gemini and few others do offer free services to limited number of requests. Okay. So once you create this OpenAI, now I told you the OpenAI SDK provides you many inbuilt functions. So one of the inbuilt function is this client.chat.completions.create. So this is a function, create function, in which you give the model name. Now naturally you will get different performances with respect to different models. Certain models are expected to be very fast to give the response immediately. Certain modules will try to tune and give the response. So based upon the nature of your application, you can select from a wide variety of models, and again the model support is again different in different AI providers. So you will have to correspondingly read the documentation to make use of different models given by them. This Gemini model 2.5 is quite famous, so I am using that model as of now here. And if you see the messages, now when I give message, I give two things. First is role system. So when I am asking Gemini or any AI provider, I am saying that you assume a system role in which you are a helpful assistant. So generally we set the context of our communication by setting what type of system you are, correct? So that the corresponding AI provider can assume that role. So here in the system we are saying you are a helpful assistant, and as a user, as a end customer, I am asking you a question to say a joke on computer. Okay. Now I gave less than 100 characters. You can ignore that. So let's keep the question as simple as say a joke on computer. Okay. So when I will fire this query, it will go and hit. It will get the response. The response comes in the form of choices, in within which we will have message and we will have content, and we will also have finish reason. So the reason, finish reason can be success or failure based upon various factors, correct? Like your internet was not there, or whether you have done with your usage per day. So there can be many finish reasons, correct? So we also capture any exception which can occur. So if I go and run this AI1.py, so what I will do is I will go to that folder, go to code folder. This is my folder, open CMD, and fire this command Python AI1.py. So I fire this question. So you know it will automatically create OpenAI, it will connect to Gemini, fire that question, say joke on computer, and you can see. So finish is stop, and this is the joke. Why was the computer cold? It left its window open. Finish reason stop. Correct. So everyone able to see it generated a joke for me. So this is how I am able to use Gemini. Correct. So Gemini has its own library also which you can use. The intention of the first example was to show you how can you call a model with OpenAI. Hopefully everyone makes sense with this SDK use. Yes, it's very simple. Client.chat.completion create. When you give you will select a model, you will give a message and correspondingly raise the questions, correct? Now, one challenge with this approach, especially for people who are learning, is that they will have to rely upon third-party providers, correct? What if I cannot afford third-party providers? I want to use models which are used by these third-party providers, but I want to keep them to my organization, correct? Due to security reasons. Is that possible? Yeah, that is possible. So this is possible because in the artificial intelligence world, we have many providers who can expose a model in the local. So one of such providers is Olama. So if I go and open Olama, yes. So if you see Olama, it provides various models. Okay. So chat and build with open models, you can see, and it supports a wide variety of models. There are a lot of models which are available, which you can readily use, correct? And one of the benefit of using Olama is you can also deploy it on a Docker. So it becomes quite easy for you. So again, so what will be the benefit as per using this, especially for people reading or learning agentic AI is it can make, instead of going to internet to get the model like Gemini, it can have some of the very good models available to you on your local. Okay. And one more advantage of Ollama is Ollama can also provide services in the form of REST API. So it provides that. So here you can see there are various models which are very frequently used along with their size, which is mentioned here, correct? And how to make use of Ollama and use. So this is what it shows in this particular documentation, correct? So I will paste this documentation in the chat for your reference because some people were asking about Ollama. Yes, Ollama is one of the providers. Is this the only provider? No. Just like Ollama, there are many providers. We have VIDM provider. Many other providers are there, correct? So for our course, we will stick to this since keeping one as a standard makes it easy to understand, correct, and use. So this is how we can use a model on my local. So how did I use? So I used Docker. Okay, now how to use Docker? What is Docker? To explain that is beyond this course. You can refer our Docker courses. But in very simple words, Docker is an ability to run program anywhere, irrespective of environment. Correct. So here, what we are going to do is we are going to run this Ollama. So this is the command which I am going to use to run Ollama. And what it does is it exposes itself as a REST API in this port 11431. So I ran this already and this Ollama is available to me. You're able to see in my containers, it's available to me and it's available in the port also 11434. After installing Ollama, you can also run a particular model. So if you go back, Ollama run command is there or pull command is there using which you can pull up the models, correct? So run JMA 3, run JMA 3, 3:12b. You can see you can install various models. The models which we are going to use is Llama and Mistral. You are free to use any models. We use these two models because the size is quite tolerable to work in a local system and it becomes easy to use, correct? So we are using these models. You are free to use any models. Okay. These are the conditions necessary for running this. You should have at least 8 GB of RAM, correct? So yes, so the commands are quite straightforward. This is the command of Docker, which I already showed you. If you want, I have documented it here also. So if you see, this is the command to run Docker. It will install Ollama. Of course, it will take around 15 to 20 minutes because it's quite big in size. And then you'll have to run or pull Llama or Mistral, correct? So if you run these two commands, it will automatically install both these models on your local. So once you install this in your local, you will be able to call these services and get answers from it. For example, if you see the C URL, I am giving a call. I will show you that call in my Postman also. Of course, it will take 1 to 2 minutes to give an answer because it's running on your local and not every system are supercomputers, correct? So naturally, it will be slightly slow. But since the intention is to use free systems, I think it will be still acceptable, correct? So let's go and see. Yes. So if you come here, so you can see localhost 11434. Here I am saying use Llama 3. Role is user. Why is this? Just sky blue. So if I send this, or I can copy the C URL also. So use C URL na, in git bash. It shows response in a more better way. You will see that the response will come in the form of streaming. So if I run this, oh, sorry. Just copy this here to here. Come back there on the git bash and try this. Enter. You start saying the processing is happening. Why is the sky blue? That's the question. So using this model, we will try to get the response, correct? You start seeing the response will come in streams. See, it's continuously processing. And once it executes, it will take a minute or so. You will be able to see the responses, correct? So let's give it a minute so that we can see the response. Everyone able to see the response started coming. The sky appears blue because of a phenomena called ray light scattering, named after the British physicist, correct? You are able to see. You can combine this result. Everyone with me? It's showing further all the reasons. So the advantage of the streaming is you can start showing the result as soon as it starts coming, correct? You don't have to make the person wait till the complete answer comes. So that's the advantage of using this streaming. So that's the advantage of using Olamas. The steps are very straightforward. If you have a machine with good RAM, you will be able to use this. I am highlighting the command again. These are the commands which I use to install Olama, correct? So docker run -d, we have to give a volume. This volume is important because our models get stored here, and we will download the Olama model, and then we will pull Llama 3 and Mistral. Hopefully that makes sense, everyone, how we ran this. And the C URL which I used, that's also shown here. This is the C URL. So in my application, this is in my system, this is working on 11434, which is what is the port which we exposed in Docker. And we are hitting this API and we are able to see the response. Okay, if you are using Windows, you can make use of git bash to run this curl command. You can also check on the Postman. Again, there also it will give the same response. It will just take some time, correct, for the response to come as you saw in curl. So same way it will work here. Now, can I use only Llama 3 model? As I told you, you can use any models. I showed you that Llama supports a wide variety of models. You can make use of that. If you want, you can also make use of Hugging Face. Hugging Face also has lot of models. So you can use models of your choice. So here in Postman also I hit the same request. You will see it will get the response. The couple of minutes. As I told you, this is on my local. So it will be slightly slow as compared to the powerful systems which Google or Amazon or Azure has, correct? See, the response started coming. Let's give a minute just to see the response. As I told you, it will take a couple of minutes for the response to come. Just like we saw in CURL, the same response will come here also. So Postman takes additional time to process the request. That's why you are able to see the response in CURL faster, because CURL starts showing as soon as it comes. Here also, I think it took good time, around 2 minutes. You can see time spent and so on. Here the response. Same way here also it will take time. Right? So Postman will take some additional time just to show the response, but it will come here also. Same response which it gave here, there will come here. Correct? Nothing different. Okay, so let it run. We will show the result when it comes. So let's move on to the next example. So in the first example, we had made use of OpenAI to connect to Gemini. So in this second example, I will try to make use of OpenAI, connect to our local Olama, correct? So how to do that? So again, I make use of OpenAI module, import OpenAI. And just to show you that the request is going and coming, I made use of a login module, correct? And we are setting it in debug mode. And whatever result is coming, that I'm going to show. So again, we may create an object of OpenAI, and in the base URL, I am giving the URL of this URL of our local system where Olama is running. As you know, Olama is running here only 11434. And in the API key, we gave Olama. We can give anything because we don't have a specific API key in our local, correct? So see, so again, going back to the Postman, you're able to see the response came, correct? So it will work anyways, even if you use URL or even if you use Postman, correct? So here in the Open API, I created the client. I am using the same method. You can see client.chat.completion.create. In messages role user, I am saying explain the concept of quantum entanglement. And here I am saying model is Llama 3, correct? Why this model name is required? Because within one Olama system itself, you can have multiple models. So you will have to name the model which you want to use, correct? So if I run this, it will hit, just like the first example hit Gemini. Here it will hit my local, and from the local it will process and get the response and show me, correct? So let's try running this. Go back there. So we'll say CLS, and I will say Python AI2.py. So I'm running that. So you see it made use of this chat completions. So this all is coming from our logger which we enabled. So you can see it sending that response to chat completions API. And the question is explain the concept of quantum entanglement, correct? So this question is fired. Again, it will take a minute or so. The delay is not because of the model. The delay is because of our machine, correct? So based upon the speed and capacity of your machine, your speed response time will increase or decrease, correct? So let's try. So let's wait for a minute. Again, the response will come. As you know, it takes couple of minutes on my machine to show the response. Wait here to till the response comes. You will be able to see the logs of this if you know what Docker is. If you say Docker logs, if you open one more command prompt till it's running, you can also see the logs. So if you say Docker PS, it will show you that run in Olama. And if you say Docker logs and give this container ID, it will show you the processing which is happening. Are you able to see the post request which you send in chat? That's it reached here. Yes, it's making use of graph splits and so on. It's run in Llama. Everyone with me? This request will process and response will come. So let's hold on for a minute here just to see the response. And then we'll continue with our next example. Yes. You're able to say it explained everything. What is quantum entanglement, correct? Yes, so everyone able to see this? It gives a complete illustration by using this Llama 3 model, correct? So you see, we are going towards the first steps towards agentic AI, correct? So we are able to see what OpenAI can provide, how we can run models, how can we use third-party models like Gemini, and we are also seeing how can we use models on our local. So these are all the prerequisites which is required for learning agentic AI, correct? So the next example is quite interesting. In the next example, what we are going to do is we are going to create a chat agent. What will this chat agent do is the aim of this chat agent is it will receive questions from the user. Whatever questions comes from the user, it will analyze, make use of internet and give the response to the user. Okay, so here if you see, I am making use of Olama. Olama is also a module in Python. You can say pip install Olama. DuckDuckGo underscore search. This is the name of a module in Python which can perform web search. Okay, it can search internet for a query. It's a very famous library. It is in fact now renamed as DDGS. The earlier time it was known as DuckDuckGo underscore search. The advantage of the search engine is you can limit the result. You can say how many results you require. It's just like any search engine which can search and give you results, correct? So what we did here, and JSON module. JSON module, you know, it's an inbuilt module in Python which can parse JSON. So if you see the search web, it takes a query. Okay. So query, you know, this is hinting. It takes string and it gives string as a response. So what we do is we make use of this DDGS and we create a list of results. The maximum results which we are asking is 3. Of course, we can also create this as a parameter to say how many number of results we want, but I kept the results here as 3. If results are not found, we'll just give a message, no web results found. If the results are found, we are formatting the result. So for each record in this list, what we are doing is we are getting title, we are getting snippet. Okay. And that's what we are returning back. Okay. So for web results for a query, the query which we made, we are returning the formatted results. Now to indicate to our LLM that you have to make use of internet or the search web function to actually search internet and get the result, we have to create a JSON like this. Now, there are many ways of handling this. Some people make use of an decorator with name @function tool. We will see that in coming up sessions. Another way of doing it is by defining a JSON like this. In this JSON, I am saying I have created a function. I have created a variable with name tool search web, which is of type function. And inside this function, it has to call search underscore web, which is the function which we created before. And in the parameters, it will take object with query, and the query will be of type string. And we have also given description so that anyone using this search web knows what it does. Correct. So it's using this tool to extract anything from internet, the exact search query, correct, which we have to search. Then once we did this, we are going to define a function run agent. So in the run agent, we give model name. So we know since we installed Olama, we are going to make use of Olama. And if you remember, when in the instructions which I gave you at the time of installation, I also installed Mistral. Okay. So Mistral is one more model name. So here we are making use of this Mistral model. So when the agent will fire, when run agent will get called, you can see I am giving a system role as system. You are a helpful assistant agent with access to search web tool. Correct. Now what I am doing is I am making use of a while loop. In while loop, I am taking input from the user. Whatever input user gave, that I am appending as a message with role as user and content as what all question user gave. And using Olama, I am chatting. I am saying olama.chat. I gave the model name, message, and tools. In the tools, I gave the tools of tool search web, the object which I created in the JSON format. So what will happen? This Olama will use of this. It will make a call. It will do all the processing. You are able to see this. If agent response dot get tools calls. So once the results comes from there, and in the function, whatever results came, that it's parsing. Whatever the result came from the first request, that is parsing and calling. Correct. So if agent response dot get tool calls, it's getting the arguments. It's calling the search web function with what all arguments we get. Whatever response we got, that response I am appending. Correct. So like this, it will keep on repeating till the user keeps on giving the question. Correct. Now if tool call is not there, it will just give the response as it is. Correct. So in one way, whenever there is a tool calls, if you see here, when I am calling first time, I pass the tool calls. So if tool call is there, it will make use of the tools to call and get the data. If it's not there, it will not make use of it. It will only make use of the model. Correct. And finally, I run the agent. So let's see how this works. What I will do is I will open a command prompt, cmd, and say Python simple.py. So once I run this, you see agent is running with Olama model Mistral. In user, I can ask a question. What is the capital of Japan? So now it will make use of that tools, search web tool. It will search the internet, get various results, parse that results, and give a response to me in a manner. Of course, it will take couple of minutes again here, again because we are using running on my local system, correct? So if you have very powerful servers, this will come in milliseconds to nanoseconds, correct? So let's see what it gives. So it will take three results. It will combine the search three results and then show, correct? You massage the response in a way which will be easy for any customer to understand. So let's see what it gives. So each time I give a question, it will do this entire process and give me the response. So let's see what it gives. Okay, so what is the response? What is the capital of Japan? I think there is some internet connectivity problem. So if you give the question again, it will come. Let's go and see the logs of Docker also. So Docker logs. You're able to see it's running the model, getting the response, showing the results, it's processing. Let's see. The speed slowness is due to my machine. It's nothing to do with model. If you have better capable servers, the result will be very good. You see, it gave the result. The capital of Japan is Tokyo. After searching, it gave. You see, tool calls it did. The search term is what is the capital of Japan, correct? So let me ask one more question. What is the capital of Australia? So again, you will see the tool calls will go. It will call the search web method. It will take this query which we gave as an argument. It will search the internet, capture the first three values, will massage the first three results to give the best result. Correct? Hopefully everyone clear. While this is running, let me explain the code again. So here we are making use of Olama, DuckDuckGo and JSON. DuckDuckGo is used to search internet. So the search web function takes a string. It searches the internet, gets the first three results. From the three results, it captures the title and the body. Now, to make use of these tools, we know that in Agentic AI, which we can have multiple tools. So the tools here which we are using is of type function, and it's a search web function which will call the search web to make use of the DDGS module to call and get a response. Correct? So here we are enabling the parameters also. We are giving query as a parameter and we'll get a result. The run agent model is our function which takes a model name. You can pass any model name which you have. Since we are using Olama in our local, we are making use of Mistral model where I pass the question, you are an helpful agent. Now we are doing a while loop in which user is allowed to enter import. Now whatever user enters as import, we create a dynamic message from the user query with role as user and we give it to Olama. Now when I am giving Olama.chat along with the model name and message, I am also saying that you make use of this tool search web. So now what will happen is now agent response when it comes, it will get these tools calls In the tools calls, it will get the name. So this JSON.loads is basically used to get the response from agent response. And it will say that agent call in tool, it calls the tool name with these arguments, correct? So when the tool name comes as search web, it will call the search web function. Whatever result came, that result it will append from tool, correct? And show to the user. Everyone with me? So this Olama Jotta. So second time again I am calling Olama. So in the same request I am calling Olama 2 times. First one is to fetch the data. Second one is to massage the data in such a way that it will give a answer in summarized form. Correct. So the summary is generated by this final response, which is what we are printing. In case tools are not present, then it's just massaging the response and giving the response, which is what got printed here. You can see. Sorry, not this one. Great one. Sometimes blank response is coming. That is because of a bug in the code, which is not filtering the response properly. And since everything is working on my local, that's why certain times you are able to see the blank response. Okay, so I'm running again so that you can see the result. It will make calls, it will get the response, it will massage the data and show the data in a much readable form. Everyone try this. Once this runs, you will be able to see the capacity, correct, of what a simple agentic AI application can do. See, the capital of Australia is Canberra. Everyone able to see that? Hello? Does it make sense, everyone, how this works? So you can see based upon all the results which it got from the first 3 matches, the second LLM call which we did was to massage and summarize the result, correct? So this is how we created a simple agentic AI. This is just to show you what agentic AI can do. And again, the speed was slightly slow because of my local machine. If you have powerful servers, it will work very nice. So let's recap what all we did today as such. So today we started with the world of agentic AI. We saw what agents are, what is the difference between agentic AI and Gen AI. As you know, agentic AI focuses on goal, Gen AI focuses on content. We also learned that we have various types of agents based upon the response. Some are intended to give response faster. Some are intended to learn from the response. Some are also intended to follow a hybrid model. We also learned that there is one more classification based upon autonomy, whether they can be rule based, whether they can be based upon workflow, whether they are semi-autonomous system or complete autonomous system. We also learned the building blocks of agentic AI, correct? With LLM playing a very important role in interpreting the question. Then we also had a important role played by various tools. We have various tools like API, internet, database queries. So just like we created a method for connecting to internet, we can also create methods to get the data from the database, correct? Which LLM can then massage, summarize and give the result back to the client. So we learned that the importance of Open AI SDK, which will play an important role because OpenAI provides a uniform way of accessing various resources. We created a couple of examples on that. In the first example, we made use of Gemini to get the data. In the second example, we are making use of Olama server. I talked about Olama server, which allows you to run the models from your local. I showed you how to run it by using Docker, how to run models within it. We did a simple example of running a model by using Olama. And finally, we also did a simple example of Agentic AI, which will connect to web, fire the query which you gave as a question, get the answer, massage the answer, send back the response to the client, correct? So this is the building block of Agentic AI. The future of Agentic AI is quite bright. It's the right time to invest in this. The topics which we will be covering on a broader scale is introduction to Agentic AI. I am sure everyone enjoyed this. Then we will go for LLM fundamentals and prompt engineering, basics of which we did today itself. And we will bring simple agents. Now, today we made simple agents by using Olama. We will also make use of agents by using LangChain. We will make use of the React model. We will also make use of the RAG model. Now, one thing which we did not discuss today is what is RAG, correct? What is the use of RAG? How can it be used? We will see that. Multi-agent collaboration patterns integrated in API and external tools, a part of which we did today. Custom agent workflows, vector stores, how to store the response, how to make. So by default, all the agents are stateless. So if you want to make it stateful, how can we make that? And multi-agent chat room. Now, all this will be done with practicals, just like I showed you practicals today. This is what we will be covering as a part of this course. Any questions? Anyone? I'm free to take any questions. Please put your questions on the chat. So I can see one question which is coming up in the chat is, what is the difference between custom programming logic and agentic AI? Okay. So in custom programming language, in custom programming logic, what you do is you expect a input and you give an output, where the format of input and output are predefined, correct? Now, a input will be taken, processing will be done. The nature of processing is also fixed, that you will have to get the data from a database, you will have to get the data from Redis, you will have to get the data from some source and give the response. While in the case of agentic AI, what makes it unique is its ability to understand your question. Based upon the nature of your question, go to corresponding sources, get the response from there, and not use the plain response, but massage the response based upon your contextual question and give response, correct? So this intelligence is what makes agentic AI more powerful and more easier to use as compared to typical old programming paradigm. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question. Second question which I can see here is, what is the future of agentic AI? As I showed you already, many companies already have started investing in agentic AI. Number of agentic AI applications are increasing daily, both to reduce cost and to keep themselves competitive in this current environment. Many new teams and many new roles will be formed. One, of course, for writing agentic AI solutions, but along with that, maintaining them. So the future of agentic AI looks good, at least for coming 5 to 6 years. Okay. So that's how is the future of agentic AI. One question which I can see is, will you be covering practical examples? As you can see, even though we covered theory today, our applications which I showed were not straightforward applications. They were applications which were intended to show you the pre-request which is required for working on AI. So we will be doing many examples, finance-based, health-based examples, as and when we get a chance in this course. So each of the topics which you will see will be explained theoretically, followed by practicals, just like today. So if you are able to follow today's exercises, you will follow the same mechanism in coming up times. So that's the way it will work. And yes, so we'll be covering a lot of practical examples just to answer your question. Great. So I think that's the questions which I can see. Thank you everyone for joining this session. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. We covered a lot today on understanding the basics. Hopefully you all enjoyed the session. Have a nice rest of day. Thank you. Hopefully we'll meet again tomorrow to learn something new. Thanks. Thanks everyone.